Before airships had pilot cabins, this photo shows England back in 1917. Here's a photo showing a pretty wild scene. It's a blimp crash caused by a nuclear test. This happened in Nevada back in 1957. This is 5-year-old Harold Walker. The photo was taken in Oklahoma way back in 1916. Can you believe it? This little guy could pick between 20 and 25 pounds of cotton in a single day. Here's a photo of a businessman and his secretary working in a swimming pool. This was during a heatwave in Berlin, Germany, back in 1926. Here's a shot of the Las Vegas Strip way back in 1969. This photo shows a group of schoolboys in Havana. It was taken way back in 1937. And the boy with the lollipop? That's Fidel Castro. Here's a photo of London's very first black police officer, Police Constable Norwell Roberts. He's on point duty near Charing Cross Station back in 1968. Alright, check out this photo. It's called Sea Dog. Simple, to the point. What a great shot. Taken sometime in the 1940s, I'd really love to know what's going on here. Her joy is just infectious. Here's a shot of a female mason perched high above Berlin. This photo was taken around 1910. Here's a photo of Winston Churchill being carried from a nursing home. This happened after he was hit by a car in New York City, back in the year 1931. Here's a picture of a stuntman getting ready to drop into a car. This was taken back in 1921. Levitation lessons in Latvia. This photo shows two women in Zurich, Switzerland back in 1947. They're standing right in front of a poster that's against women's suffrage. You can see how things were back then. Kids in a ballroom dancing class. Here's a cool photo. It shows two Mad magazine artists, Al Jaffe and Will Elder. They're in the lunchroom at the High School for Music and Arts in New York City back in 1936. Here's a shot of Richard Avedon and Sophia Loren. It was taken at his New York studio back in 1966. This photo shows Viet Cong fighters getting ready for an ambush. They're taking cover in a beautiful lotus field, preparing to strike at American troops stationed in South Vietnam. This was back in 1969. This is a fantastic shot from 1951, featuring Miss Car Wash. Here's a photo from September of 1934. We see Mrs. C. Wilds behind the wheel of a car and she's got her pet pig with her. This was taken in Turling in Essex. Alright, check out these vintage swing dancers. This is so cool. You can almost hear the music, can't you? Here's a photo of Queen Victoria from 1887. Back in 1961, Hughes Aircraft Electronic Labs was about to change everything. They were introducing Mobot, the magnificent mobile robot, and it was going to be something truly special. Here's a picture of Sergeant Alvin York returning home to his mother in Tennessee back in 1919. He was a highly decorated soldier. Here's a fun one. Back in 1960, some nuns from the Order of St. Benedict really made a splash. They were vacationing in Greyland, and this photo shows them enjoying the Pacific Ocean. What a sight! Here's a charming photo of Greta Reinwald, a very adorable German actress. This is her as a child posing for a postcard. It looks like this was taken around 1910, when she was just starting out. This photo shows a fire escape collapse taken in the year 1975. Here's a photo from Christmas at the hospital in Sweden way back in 1953. Here's a production still featuring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. They're posing together from the film The Godfather Part 2, which came out in 1974. Here's a look at Welsh athlete pioneer Ivy Russell. This photo shows her house, and it was taken sometime around the 1930s. She was even declared the strongest woman in the world at one point. Alright, here's a fun one. This old photo from the 1950s shows a man getting his dog all spiffed up in a suit. And get this, he's put his cat right in the dog's lap for the picture. What a great shot. Here's a shot of traffic on London Bridge way back in 1890. Here's a picture of some kids playing doctors. They look like they're having a blast. Alright, here's a shot of the Gaz TR Arrow, and it was made all the way back in 1954. Here's a photo showing 4 generations all together in one shot. This picture was taken around 1905. This photo shows Helen F. Day, a blind woman. She was the publisher of Searchlight, a publication for blind children. It looks like she's probably holding a device used for printing in Braille. Here's a photo that's just incredible. It shows a construction worker, one of the Empire State Building builders, hanging onto a crane high above New York City. This was way back in 1930. Just an amazing shot. Wow, check out this amazing picture. It looks like a little kid is bravely feeding an alligator. That's something you don't see every day. Don't try this at home. This photo is from the 1910s, you know, way back then. Here's a photo of Cetshwayo, the king of the Zulu. He's famous for defeating the British at the Battle of Isandlwana back in 1878. celebrating a new year. This photo was taken on New Year's Day, 1933. Here's a great shot of Sophia Loren serving pasta. It was taken during the production of the movie La Chiocciara, which was directed by Vittorio De Sica back in the year 1960. The photo was taken in Saracinesco, in the Lazio region of Italy. Here's a picture of two children, and they're completely ignoring the artwork at the San Francisco Museum of Art. You know how it goes, sometimes the art just doesn't quite grab their attention. A French woman is pouring tea for a British soldier. It looks like they're in Normandy sometime in 1944. Here's a photo of someone in a truly terrifying Halloween costume. Here's a picture of soldiers wearing gas masks while peeling onions at Tobruk. This was taken on the 15th of October, 1941. Alright, here's a photo from back when the rotor rides were fun and dangerous. This one's from 1948. Here's a photo from Old Mexico, dating all the way back to 1898. It shows someone carrying a disabled person. It's a really touching image. This is pretty cool. This photo shows the Statue of Liberty, way back when. It was taken in Paris, France, just before they took it apart and sent it over to New York. That was in 1884, if you can believe it. Alright, check this out. It's a photo of the Mad Hatter's Tea Party scene from Alice in Wonderland. This one's a classic from 1898. Here we have Elizabeth Taylor with her brother Howard Taylor back in 1937. The winter of 1880 to 1881 in Minnesota. Well, that was no laughing matter. Here's a picture of Adolf Hitler. He's wearing lederhosen. Here's a photo of Mick Jagger hanging out with Andy Warhol in New York City. Here's a photo of Michael Caine from 1965. Here's a picture of a Northumbrian miner enjoying his evening meal. This photo was taken way back in 1937. Here's a photo of a pigeon bus. It's from World War I, and it was actually used to collect messenger pigeons from the front lines. Pretty cool, right? Here's a lovely photo of a Victorian couple out for a ride. It looks like they're on a tandem bicycle, which was pretty fashionable in the 1890s. This photo shows the Catholic Church during the 1940s, specifically when the Nazi Third Reich was in power. Night fishing, taken way back in 1948. Here's a fun photo of sailors goofing off for the camera, taken around 1941. Here's a fascinating photo. It's an X-ray of Nikola Tesla's foot. He actually took this himself, using a machine that he designed. This was way back in 1896. Pretty incredible, right? Here's a lovely old photo. It shows a Filipino-American family posing for a family portrait. It was taken way back in the Philippines in the year 1912. Here's a fascinating photo from the 1920s. It shows the heaviest woman and the smallest man of that era. Here's a fun photo. It looks like a family in Finland way back in 1954. They're all gathered around a really cool homemade swing. It's designed for 4 people. What a great way to spend the day, right? Here's a photo of Barry Manilow back when he was an employee at CBS. It looks like he's in the file room, and the photo was taken in 1965. Here's a look back at the diaper derbies of the 1950s. These little babies were really racing to the finish line. Here's a look back at an old traffic accident. This one happened in the Netherlands, way back in 1914. Here's a photo from way back in 1920. You see a beggar running right beside King George V's carriage. This was all happening at the Epsom racecourse. Here's a shot of a tough-looking truck from 1915 hauling logs. Here's a photo of James D. Watson and Francis Crick. They're standing with their double helix model, which really visualized the structure of DNA. It completely changed science. This picture was taken way back in 1953. This photo shows the manliest way to shave your beard, way back in the 1940s. Here's Freddy, a baby chimpanzee hard at work mixing up the Christmas puddings. Look at him go! This photo was taken back in December of 1969. Here's a photo of Adolf Hitler in Paris. This was taken on June 23, 1940. Check out these boys having some fun with monkeys. It's such a great shot. Here's a photo of Henry Ford's very first successful vehicle, the quadricycle. Pretty cool, right? It had some super innovative designs for its time, like a doorbell button for a horn. And get this, it had 2 driving speeds. This was taken back in 1896 in Detroit, Michigan. Alright, check this out. This crazy contraption is a rocket-propelled bicycle from Germany, way back in 1931. Here's a fun one. This photo shows Wally Kilminster having a blast with his dog. They're taking a foam bath together. And get this, it's in the dressing rooms at Wembley Stadium. This was way back in 1934. In 1955, some brave women volunteered for a really interesting study. They actually participated in experiments where they were given respiratory infections on purpose, all for research. Alright, here's a cool one. This photo shows Mark Twain and Nikola Tesla. They're playing with electricity. Here's a fun one. This photo shows a cat wearing a bonnet, all comfy and seated in a stroller. It was taken back in 1908. Here's a photo of 15-year-old scout Vova Igorov from 1942. Here's a picture of Wang the human unicorn. Wow, take a look at this. There's a tumour on someone's head that's really swollen. This photo was taken back in 1889. Here's a shot of a rugby match illuminated by the floodlights. It's from the 6th of October 1933. You can see the players in a scrum, all silhouetted against the bright lights. Here's a sweet photo from back in the day. It shows Christina Goldsmith giving a kiss to a Weimaraner puppy. This little guy was from her father's stock of Weimaraner hunting dogs. The photo was taken in 1950. Here's a lovely picture of American actress and singer Jeanette MacDonald with her cat Puzzums. This photo was taken way back in 1932. Alright, this photo shows a game of Pharaoh being played way back in 1895.